What's going on, y'all? My name is Enoch. I'm here to inspire, motivate, and encourage you to be the best version of you that you could possibly be. I know that ain't an easy task, but let's go. Welcome back to Divine Motivation Podcast. I appreciate you tuning in. I do not take your time for granted. Thank you for being here. Follow the Instagram, Divine Motivation _. If you like this video, please send it to a friend. Also, if you're not into videos, you don't got time to watch, we are now on Spotify. I'm now on iTunes. So if you look up Divine Motivation Podcast, I'm going to pop up. I'm trying to be on all platforms. You feel me? Follow the Instagram, Divine Motivation _. That's where I give you motivational videos every single day, non-stop. Now let's get into it. Alright, so last week, right, we talked about, sacrifice. For your gifts and your goals, sacrificing your time, sacrificing money. And I was going to move on, right? So my wife, she said something to me the other day. We just regular talking. She goes, I got some homework I need to do, but it's so much harder to stay focused when the weather gets good outside. And I was like, ooh, that's an episode right there. And she was like, oh, you need to start giving me credit. So I'm going to give you some credit. But I thought about it like, yo, because I'm trying to cover all these areas and factors of reasons why we don't get to where we want to go or fulfill our gifts and our callings and our purpose. And that's something to take into account. Like the summertime or the spring or when the weather gets good, it's like for some reason that grind and that focus starts to deteriorate. So I start thinking about it. Like how? Like let's get tangible. Like how do we stay focused when we're not stuck inside anymore, when it's not cold? And I started thinking about, okay, what makes the difference between the successful people and the people that are mediocre? One of my favorites of all time is Kobe, right? And I started thinking about Kobe, and I'm like, do you think he had a real summer, like after the season? Do you think he really, I'm pretty sure he took time to, relax with his family. But do you think he really, to get to the level that he was at, do you think he really had a real summer where he just chilled and stopped grinding and stopped, really pushing towards his goal? And I'm like, I highly doubt it. Because you don't get to that type of level with a mediocre mindset. There's a certain kind of discipline. So I'm like, okay, how do we actually help people sustain that motivation, that grind throughout the summer? We got to start planning for the summer. Whatever it is, that goal or that provision that you have, make plans specifically for when the weather gets good. So like for me, with my speaking, I'm like, what can I do to sustain a consistent work ethic? Like I start adding things. So now I want to read more because I listen to books because I'm a hearer. I want to read more out loud, like chapters, like specifically. So I'm implementing that now. So now that when the weather's changing, I still have something I'm supposed to do. But if you, because in the winter time, it's like we got these grinds, we start grinding, we come up with these things, and we just keep going. But then the weather comes up. There's other things that come into play. It's like, oh, outside is nice now. Now I want to go hang out a little more. Now that's cool. But what is going to take you to that next level? What's going to separate you from the pack? Because everybody's grinding, when there's nothing to do. That's easy. But what is going to separate you? And then I realized you got to think about your purpose and on another scale. Like, what is the foundation of your purpose? What is it standing on? What is it built on? Because if it's not built on something concrete or solid, when the weather changes, the surface changes. So if I'm built on sand or mud, when the weather changes and there's some rain and whatever forecast, the building changes. But if I'm on a strong foundation of why is it your calling? Why is this your purpose? Why do you want to accomplish these goals? Because the purpose should be able to hold it through adversity, through times, through things that you're going through on the regular. So when the weather changes, it's just like, okay, the weather's nice. That doesn't mean I stop doing what I'm doing. That doesn't mean I get up and just go, oh, well, it's nice out. But I get it though. Like, for real. Like, I felt it. Like, the weather's nice. Like, you know what? Today, I'm going to just chill. But you got to shake that. You got to find out. That's when you really know if that purpose is it really standing on something? Or is it just emotion? Is that purpose really something I'm so passionate about that it doesn't matter what's in front of me? You have to ask yourself that. Because we get so caught up in the moment that when other things come, it's easy to be shaken and say, I'm going to put that to the side. Because the grind is real when you ain't got no choice but to grind. There ain't nothing else to do. But when you have options, that's the test right there. When you have other options. Because when you have options, now it's like, okay, is this really something I really want to do? Is this really a calling? Or is it something I chose to do? When something's a calling, it has a different weight. When you're called to do something, it holds a different level. It's like, I can't just relax on this. I have to keep going. I have to keep elevating. I have to keep getting to these next levels because, let's be real, a lot of people are doing what you're trying to do. Let's be real. I'm not the only one that's trying to be a motivational speaker. I'm not the only one doing a podcast. I'm not the only one that have an Instagram. You're not the only one doing what you're doing. So what is it that's going to separate you from the pack? What am I going to see in you that says, oh man, they got it. There's something different about them. And a lot of the times, the difference is you got a different grind than everybody else. You separated yourself. You kept going when people was chilling. You have to have that. You have to have that different kind of drive. Like fully driven to be your best self. Fully driven to accomplish your goals. You got to have that mindset. And that's what's going to separate you. And that's when people that are doing what you're doing, they'll be able to look and say like, yo, how they get there? They're doing the same thing I'm doing. We may be doing the same thing, but we got a different kind of work ethic. And that's what I want you to have. Keep that in mind. When the weather changes, when you had something you wanted to do, really set up a plan. Put some things in place that's going to have you where you put it on yourself to say like, this is what I have to do before I do anything else. And when you do that, then maybe you could just chill a little bit, but still keep that the main thing. All right. Now that's today's episode. I appreciate you tuning in. Share this video with somebody. Follow the Instagram, Divine Motivation _. Go on Spotify, iTunes. It's all on there now. We on them platforms, baby. Now let's go. I'll see you next week.